everyone, it's me, Jessica from the Guiding Greenhorns, and I'm here to talk about preparation tips on what you should do before you invest in the stock market. So, basically, what are we going to discuss today? What kind of preparation tips are we going to talk about? First, we have to set a goal. Then, let's discuss the investment pyramid. Then, let's talk about how much you can invest in the stock market. And finally, let's talk about information sources that you can use so you can be well researched before you invest. So, first of all, let's talk about how important it is to set a goal. Setting a goal is one of the most important things you can do before investing in the stock market. It's basically your purpose as to why you're investing. You can't just blindly invest, or you can't just say, hey, I'm just going to invest in the stock market just because. So there must be a reason or a purpose why you're investing in the stock market. And that's why it's important to match your goal to your investment horizon and budget. So if you're saving up for emergency funds, of course you're not going to put that in the stock market. You need an account where you can withdraw anytime. And what's best suited to that is a bank account. So once you set your goal, you can set your investment horizon and budget. So if you plan on withdrawing soon, you need to just put up a bank account so that you can withdraw anytime. If you don't need the money for at least a year and you're saving up for something in a year or two, maybe you can put it in a time deposit where your money is going to be locked up in a year or so. If you don't need the money in 3 to 5 years and you're looking for a higher interest, then maybe you can lock up your money in long term bonds. And finally, if you don't need the money for 5 years or more, you can consider investing in real estate and stock market. Things such as retirement fund, purchasing a house, and other such long-term investment goals can fall under this category. So remember, don't just blindly invest. Make sure that you match your investment goal with your investment horizon and budget. Next, you need to discover your risk appetite. So what is your risk appetite? We have a separate video for this, but I'm going to walk you through why it's important. So, if you invest your money in a bank account, your returns are less than 1%. There's not much risk, but you're also not getting very good returns. For time deposits, you can get about 2 to 4%, and there's also relatively low risk, but your money is tied up. For long-term bonds, you get higher interest, but it's also much more riskier. And finally, for real estate and stock market investment, you can get higher returns, but the risks are also higher. We'll be talking more about risk and return in a later slide. But you can also check out our separate video on risk appetite with a quiz. Next, you should also determine your time commitment and expertise. So there are various ways for you to invest in the stock market. You don't have to do it by yourself. Yes, there's self-invested funds, but you can also ask the help of an expert. So you can directly manage your stocks in your own account, or you can indirectly invest through a manager by investing in mutual funds, UITFs or unit investment trust funds, or even VUL or variable unit linked insurance policies. So it depends. If you have plenty of time to manage your stocks by yourself, then you can do your own account. But if you don't have that much time, then you can hire the expertise of a manager by purchasing mutual funds, UITFs, or VUL insurance. Next, you need to set your target profits and losses. So of course, we've talked about the risk appetite earlier. Your risk appetite, investment horizon, and budget will let you know which kind of account is best suited for your preference or your goal. So now, once you've set a goal and a preference, you need to know when you can cut loss or when you've reached your target profit so that you can withdraw your account. So let's not get too greedy and make sure that everything is predetermined and pre-decided so we don't lose out our money entirely. So each investment comes with risks and rewards. And as we've said earlier, the higher the risk, the higher the reward. So if you're looking at a reward of 15%, you must be able to stomach a loss of 10%. This is why when you invest in a bank account, there's not much risk. You can withdraw anytime, but the interest rate is really low because you're not engaging in any risk. So always remember that the higher the reward, the higher the risk. So you have to make sure that you set your target profits and losses so that you get the reward and you manage your risk. Let's talk about the investment pyramid. So this is different from pyramid scams. So this is not a scam. This is how you should structure your investments in order for you to be able to have a diverse portfolio. So as they say, never put all your eggs in one basket. So at the base of the pyramid, we have low risk funds. We have government bonds, debt instruments, money market instruments, bank accounts, certificates of deposits, notes, bills, cash, and cash equivalents. You can also include insurance here so that if anything happens to the person investing, their money is safe. They don't have to withdraw their investments. They have insurance to cover their losses, if any. Next are real estate, equity mutual funds, large and small capitalization stocks, high income bonds, or high income debt instruments. And lastly, we have the speculatives at the peak. We have options, futures, collectibles, cryptocurrency. They're at the very high peak. So these are investments from low to high risk. So you have to make sure that you study these investments carefully before entering into these investments because you can lose all of your money. You can get wiped out. So start studying lower risk investment first before moving up to the middle and higher risk investments. So that's our tip for you. Next, let's discuss how much to invest. We have a few simple guidelines that you may follow. First is have your emergency funds ready. So when you invest, it should be money on top of your emergency savings, on top of your insurance policies. Why? This is because if something happens to the person, there's an emergency or an accident, then that person has to withdraw his or her investment funds. Instead of having emergency funds, you need to withdraw your investment funds. So if you chose a longer investment horizon and the money that you put in there is not yet profitable, then it's such a waste for you to have to withdraw them. So make sure that you have enough savings, you have enough emergency funds, at least 6 months of your monthly expenses, you have insurance policies before investing so that you don't need to withdraw your hard earned money, even if it's at a loss. Next is tip number 2, only invest what you can afford to lose. So as we've said earlier, you have to make sure that you've already set up your emergency funds, you've set up your insurance funds, and now you're only investing money that's extra or on top of that money. So don't invest money that's used for day-to-day expenses or something that you need next month because this is not what investing is for. Investing is for a long-term horizon. So make sure that the money that you have set aside for your daily needs is different from what you're investing. Tip number 3, for the stock market, you can invest up to 100 minus your age. So this is a rule of thumb. This is in terms of your portfolio. So if you have a portfolio of 100% and you are 20 years old, then you can invest up to 80% of your investment portfolio in the stock market. So, of course, you also need to consider your risk appetite, investment horizon, and budget. But this is a good rule of thumb already that up to 80% of your portfolio may be invested in stocks. We're not saying that you need to have at least 80%. We're saying that you can invest up to 80%. This is because your age is still low. So you have time to ride out the fluctuations in the stock market. And therefore, you can put in more money in more speculative things rather than more fixed instrument things. So, if we reverse this data and you're 80 years old, then only up to 20% of your money should be in the stock market because you cannot take risks anymore. You have no time to smooth out those kinds of fluctuations. As Warren Buffett said, time in the market is more important than timing the market. So consistently saving your money and putting the money there for a long period of time, that's more important than timing the market or trying to gain quick profits. Lastly, let's talk about education and research information that you may be interested to do before investing in the stock market. First, of course, you need to study, study, study. So there are already many resources out there from books to websites to YouTube channels. And you can also check out the other videos in our channel so you can get to know more about the stock market. So study as much as you can, study all kinds of investments, find out your risk appetite, find out what works well for you, and do that. Next, you can also use practice accounts. So our partner for this project, callfinancial.com, has a 7-day free trial. So you can just go to their website, callfinancial.com, and you can open a demo account. So you don't need to put in real money. You can actually try and get a feel of their platform for free for 7 days. So it's a good chance for you to practice and find out if investing in the stock market is something that you want to pursue further. Next, you can also join beginner groups on Facebook, but be careful, of course, because there are plenty of scammers out there. So just make sure that you're careful, you don't give out your information or you don't absorb information easily. You verify everything that is said in these channels. So it's also an avenue for you to learn and talk to people who are beginners as well. Next, you can also seek mentors. So we're very lucky to have Sir Andoy from First Metrosec and Sir Jed from Call Financial who visited our school to talk about stock market basics to students. So when you seek mentors, you speak to experts in their field so you can learn from their mistakes as well. So in our channel, we also posted videos of stock market experts and those who have shared their personal journey in investing in the stock market so you can make the most out of it. Also, you can attend seminars and events. So you can go to the official channel of the Philippine Stock Exchange through Facebook or website. They have lots of resources and they have seminars and events for free that you can go to learn more about investing in the stock market. So learning is a lifelong journey, learning is a continuous journey. So regardless of your age, regardless of how old you are, you can always still continue to learn about the stock market and investments and how they work. So thank you so much for listening and good luck in your stock investing journey.